All right, my friends, here we are. Let's get this song down. I thought it was fading out, and I thought it was done, and it kept going. So, the Dr. Sem Yankees Show, here we go, Saturday morning. I am recording this on Friday evening, as I always do. Always record this a little beforehand. Unfortunately, I know the score of the Yankee game from last night, and the Yankees lost 6-1 to the Red Sox. We're going to talk about why the Yankees are frustrating, and we're also going to talk about why I'm not concerned about them. But before we get there, let's make today a great day. And how do you make your day great? Well, it's easy. You look around the world and you notice the good. Take a moment, notice the good that is all around you, and bring that good into your heart and cherish it. When we cherish the good that is all around us, we can't help but have a great day. But if you're going to have a great day, why keep it all to yourself? Don't do that. Share it. Spread the goodness forward. Now, some people say, Dr. Sem, I can't have a great day. There's nothing good at all. I see nothing good in this entire world that I can cherish. I don't see flowers. I don't have any food. I don't have a place to live. I don't have any friends. I don't have any good health. There's nothing good there. I can't find one thing that's good. Well, if that's the case, that there's no good in your life in any way, shape, or form, you still have the ability to make good. You can create good on your own. Do something nice for someone else. And if you do that, then there's good, and then you can cherish it in your heart, and then you can give that goodness and that happiness away. Remember, when we give love, it comes back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave. So let me just work on the, there we go. A little less reflection in my eyeballs there on the glasses. Little reminder as well that this program is brought to you by Artemisia Publishing. Artemisia is a great publisher located in the United States of America. They publish a variety of books in a plethora of genres. And of course, they've published many of mine. All of these you should read, the least among them, From Compton to the Bronx, 365.2, Going the Distance, Scattering the Ashes, and, of course, The Greatest New York Yankees by uniform number. And I think today we'll probably have a little time to explore number 45, which will be a fun number to explore. So last night, the Yankees lost 6-1. The Yankees managed all but 3 hits. Interesting, all 3 hits by players who the Yankees are hoping can be players that lead them to the promised land. Jason Dominguez had a hit. Anthony Volpe had a hit. And Spencer Jones had a hit. Volpe went 1 for 3. He scored the Yankees' only run. And he is now batting on the season .262. .262, Anthony Volpe. I mean, if Anthony Volpe can hit .262 over an extended period, if he can hit .262 for the season, well, that would be amazing. He would finally start to be the player that everybody said he could and he should be. People sometimes accuse Yankee fans of hating on Anthony Volpe, and we're not hating on Anthony Volpe. We are frustrated that he was supposed to be something that he hasn't yet proven to be, a quality Major League Baseball player. His defense has been erratic. His arm is not looking good. It looks weaker and weaker by the year. And he hasn't hit. So maybe he's finally putting it together. Spencer Jones, on the other hand, is only hitting .226. If you watch Spencer Jones hit, he just doesn't seem like a major league hitter. The batting stance is awkward. I don't know who taught him that stance. I don't know why he bats in that manner. But he doesn't look like a player that when he comes up, you're intimidated by, or if you're the opponent, or you're confident that he's going to get a hit if you're the Yankee fan. Again, the hope is that Spencer Jones proves us wrong. So why are the Yankees frustrating? Here's why. Let's go back to the White Sox series. The White Sox series, the Yankees won the first game 12-2. They won the next game 10-5. The White Sox then beat the Yankees 5-1. Okay, you can't win them all. So then the Yankees went to Cincinnati against the Reds, and the Yankees won the first game 5-0. But then they lost the next game 10-2, and then they lost the next game 4-1. And then they went to Detroit, and they lost the first game 5-3. But then they won 4-3, and then they won 4-2. And then they headed up to Boston to play the last place Red Sox. And what do you think happened? Well, they've lost the first game against the Red Sox 6-3. They lost the next game 6-1. This is the Yankees. They win a couple, they look great. They lose a bunch, they look bad, they look poor. Then they'll win a couple and look great. Then they'll lose a bunch and look bad. Win a few, lose a few. But overall, somehow, the Yankees, where is my stats? Here we are, have a 48-33 record. And they're in first place. Tampa Bay is a game behind. And Tampa Bay is the only other team in the American League East that even has a 500 or better record. Toronto is 39-42. Baltimore is 38-44. And the Red Sox are 34-41. 46. So while the Yankees are frustrating because they win a few and lose a few, they're still 15 games over 500, even with the back-to-back losses. And they're still in first place. And except for the Rays, there really doesn't seem to be another team that could even catch them. The other teams are all, as we just noted, under 500. Then you go to the American League Central. The White Sox are 41-38. The Guardians are 42-30. They're in a tie for first place. And then the other three teams, the Twins, the Tigers, and the Royals, are all under 500. You go to the American League West, the Mariners are 500, 41-41. The rest of the teams are all under 500. So the Yankees, with a .593 winning percentage, are the best team, not just in the American League East, they're the best team in the American League. Then let's look at a couple other numbers. Run differential. Now, this is a number that's going to blow everybody away. Here are some of the best teams with run differential. The Tampa Bay Rays, plus 18. The Boston Red Sox, plus 1. The Detroit Tigers, plus 1. The Seattle Mariners, plus 4. All right? Those are the teams with the best run differential in the American League. I'll read them again because these numbers are something. The Mariners are plus 4. The Tigers are plus 1. The Red Sox are plus 1. And the Tampa Bay Rays are plus 18. And then there's the Yankees. They are plus 105. 105. The Yankees' run differential, they have scored 404 runs and allowed 299 for a run differential of 105. The next closest team is the Rays at 18. And then you have the Red Sox at 1, the Tigers at 1, and the Mariners at 4. It's like the Yankees are in a different stratosphere. That's just absurd. You look at that number and you say, it can't be right, but it's right. The only other teams in baseball that have plus 100 run differential are the Milwaukee Brewers at 123, the LA Dodgers at 144. That's it. That's it. But in the American League, it's a different stratosphere. The closest team to the Yankees is the Rays, plus 18. The Yankees are the only team in the American League that has not yet allowed 300 runs. The Yankees are the only team in the American League that has scored over 400 runs. So this is why, in spite of the fact that the Yankees, especially on Thursday night with a million errors and poor play, look like they're going to be fine because they're dominating the league. Are the Yankees great? No. But are they better than everybody else by a long shot? Undoubtedly, yes. Now, it wouldn't be a complete show if we didn't talk about a Yankee. This guy was 0 for 3 last night with a strikeout. He's batting .226 on the year. And his name is Jazz Chisholm. Now, we all know the controversy that happened earlier in the week. For the second time this year, Jazz Chisholm went onto the playing field with a lollipop in his mouth. And I wrote an article on Start Spreading the News. I made the point that I think Jazz Chisholm is the first player in the history of the major leagues, maybe I'm wrong, to actually go on a playing field with a lollipop in his mouth. I still play baseball. I play in an over 35 league. It's a very competitive league. I have never seen a player, even on a Sunday morning competitive baseball league, go out on the field with a lollipop in his mouth. I coached baseball. I have 3 sons. I coached all 3 of them through their entire Little League careers. I have never seen a Little League kid go out on the field with a lollipop in his mouth. Why would Jazz Chisholm think that going out on the field with a lollipop is a good idea? And then the disappointing thing is that Aaron Boone said it really, really angered him, but he didn't do anything about it. In fact, he said, keep having fun, kiddo. Just be safe. And I think that sums up the entirety of the Aaron Boone era. And it's why when the Yankees make the playoffs, as it seems like they undoubtedly will, we have to be concerned because the manager just isn't serious. It's okay. I'm really mad at you, but I'm going to keep you in the lineup. Now, he kept him in the lineup, and then that next day, Jazz Chisholm hit what turned out to be the game-winning home run. But there's a lack of professionalism on the Yankees, a lack of leadership from their leader. You know, if a player does something to show up the team, then you sit them down. You send a message like, no, this is not acceptable. I don't know why you thought it might have been acceptable, but it's not. But I also made the point in the article on Start Spreading the News that this is a manager who, throughout every game, sits in the dugout and blows bubbles. Aaron Boone does not necessarily set a standard for professionalism. And so is it a big leap for then the players to see their manager blowing bubbles and to think it's okay maybe to go out on the field with a lollipop? Worse, after the lollipop incident, what did the Yankees still have accessible on the dugout bench? Lollipops. You know, you would think like, you know, let's not keep lollipops on the bench. In fact, as I said, I've been playing baseball and have been involved in baseball my whole life. I don't ever remember a team having lollipops. Sunflower seeds. Yes. Bubblegum. Yes. In the past, chewing tobacco. Sure. Lollipops? A Major League Baseball team with lollipops? And then a player makes a bad decision with the lollipop and you keep them in the dugout? Right? There's something disconcerting about the whole thing, like a lack of professionalism, a lack of seriousness. But then Chisholm hits the home run, and what does he do with the lollipop container? He holds it up for the camera like, yeah, baby. He was showing up as manager. And then what happens? Nothing. Nothing. And it's this lack of seriousness that undermines the Yankees' ability, I think, for greatness. Because the team isn't serious. And in big games, that lack of seriousness comes back to hurt them because it shows itself in poor fundamentals, in not being prepared for the big moments. Now, Jazz Chisholm's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. If I'm the Yankees, I say, Jazz, you're a fun player, but you're a talented player who gets in his own way and prevents yourself from using your outstanding talent to propel yourself to greatness. This is Chisholm's 7th season. Combined WAR, adding up his entire career, including this year, though last night's game not included, but give me a break. It's not going to go up. Jazz Chisholm, combined WAR, 7 seasons, 13.5. I think we can do some simple math here and say that 14 is 7 times 2. 13.5 is less than 14, which means Jazz Chisholm, for his career, averages less than 2 WAR a season. That's just not a player who will enter his age 29 year, who thinks he deserves a huge contract. That's just not a player who's going to get one, nor should he. And because of his lack of seriousness and his poor judgment, and if we remember earlier in the year, he admitted he didn't even know a simple baseball rule, the Yankees should move on. In fact, he might be a nice player that the Yankees could trade as we get closer and closer to trade season and maybe help the team in other ways. You know, a lot of people are saying, Jazz Chisholm's really coming around, his bat's coming back and all that. And that's partially true, but his OPS plus for the season is 100 on the nose. And it probably goes down a little bit after tonight or last night as you're watching this Saturday morning, because he took the collar. His lifetime OPS plus, 108. Over his career, he's barely a better than average hitter. He's a fun player. He's a dynamic player. But like so much about the Yankees, he's a frustrating player. And he's a frustrating player because he has all this talent and his performance is less than what his talent should indicate. And it's not as though he's got his big prime years ahead of him. He'll be 29 next year, and his decline years are actually on the horizon. So after this year, it's time for the Yankees to move on for a variety of reasons. But the most obvious reason is the fact that he's just an underwhelming baseball player. With his talent, he should be a player that is one of the better second basemen, one of the better players in the entire league. And he's just not. And he hasn't been over the course of his career. He's had some big moments. He's had some good periods. But overall, he's been a disappointment. But again, the Yankees, am I worried? No, we talked about the numbers. There's just nobody better. The Yankees are designed to be better than the rest of mediocre teams. I've said this for years. The Yankees want to be pretty good. Not great, pretty good. And they're really good this year in comparison to a league that's pretty darn bad. All right, let's look at number 45 real quick. We got a couple of minutes here. The book, as you probably know by now, begins with number 9, counts down all the way down to 0. Then we do the greatest Yankees who never wore uniform numbers. There's charts and fun. And I'm not going to read the whole article. I'm just going to read part of it here. Number 45, 49 different Yankees have won number 45. The first player was Clint Courtney. How many games did Clint Courtney play for the Yankees? 1. Stan Banson wore number 45 in 1968 when he was the American League Rookie of the Year. Rudy May wore number 45 in 1980 when he led the American League in ERA. The Yankees, in their history, have used number 45 often for big sluggers, including Steve Balboni, Danny Tartabull, Cecil Fielder, Chili Davis, Felix Jose, Henry Rodriguez, and Luke Voigt. Now, not all of those players were sluggers when they were with the Yankees, but they should have been if they weren't. But the Yankees, interesting, also have used number 45 a lot for middle relievers like Raleigh Sheldon, Jack Cullen, Alan Mills, Rich Monteleone, Jay Watasek, Jason Anderson, Armando Benitez, Felix Heredia, David Adams, and Chasen Shreve. But the guy wearing number 45 right now will probably be the last player ever to wear the number, because the guy wearing number 45 is the greatest Yankee in number 45. In his first 5 seasons as a Yankee through 2024, this player pitched to a record of 59-28 with a 3.12 ERA. He was the American League Cy Young winner in 2023. And as we know, in the 2025 season, he did not pitch because he was recovering from an injury and a surgery. He's come back this year and he's been a solid pitcher and he's looking good. And it's because of pitchers like him, and we already know who the answer is, Garrett Cole, that the Yankees are able to have this great run differential, because that starting rotation has looked really good. And when you have a pitcher like Garrett Cole coming back from the injury and looking fine, and Cam Schlittler, and then you have Max Fried hopefully coming back soon, and Carlos Rodon, and serviceable pitchers who can get outs and are reliable like Will Warren, that's a tough starting rotation to match or better by any other team in the league. And I don't think any of them are. And that's why the Yankees are in first place. It's why they're going to frustrate us. No, I'm saying that wrong. It's why, even though they will frustrate us all year with winning a few, losing a few, winning a few more, going into a little losing streak, coming back, but it's why they're going to stay well over 500, even in spite of these frustrating losses, and why we're going to be looking at a postseason with hope, because if you have Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, Carlos Rodon, and Garrett Cole as your pitchers for the postseason, the hope has to be that you can make it all the way to the World Series. And if those pitchers are at the top of their game, you just might see the Yankees win the World Series. Wouldn't that be something? That's what I'm hoping for. All right, my friends, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a Yankee fan. Don't forget to go to Start Spreading the News, the greatest Yankee site. We put up articles every day, 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., except if there's a game in the afternoon or the early evening. The 2 p.m. article becomes a game thread, but we have game threads for every game. And we are unbelievably consistent at putting those 3 articles up every single day. We have a great staff of writers. We all write our own content. We don't find content on other sites and borrow as people do to us. We are the best. So check us out at Start Spreading the News blog. Remember, find the goodness, cherish it in your heart, give it away. When we give love, it comes back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave. Have a wonderful Saturday, my friends. We'll be back Monday night with the Start Spreading the News Yankee podcast. Have a great night.